Hello and welcome to Somatic Wise. Thank you for tuning in. This video is about the felt sense, what it is and why it's important to us. The felt sense is a term and a concept coined by Dr. Eugene Gendlin, who was working in the psychology research laboratory at the University of Chicago under the supervision of Dr. Carl Rogers, who you might be familiar with regarding his work in founding the field of humanistic psychotherapy. What Dr. Gendlin's research found was very important. Basically, that people's ability to make and sustain lasting change in psychotherapy depends on their ability to sense and access and work with this stream of nonverbal information that comes to our conscious mind from our unconscious or our physical body. He coined this experience the felt sense. It's basically all the information that your unconscious, your body, your nervous system is giving you all the time, or that has been stifled usually by traumatic experience or by people just not being in the habit of paying attention to it or tuning into it. People have a wide variety in their capacity to access the felt sense, and Dr. Gendlin found that the ability to change is dependent on that ability to sense and use this information. Really important stuff. It forms the backbone of the psychotherapy that I do every day in somatic psychotherapy. It's also really important for ecotherapy. Large part of the benefits of being in nature is your ability to take in how it feels to be in nature. Not just thinking about nature, but feeling it in your physical body, which is the source of our life. Everything that we are in this world, walking around experiencing, is mediated through our felt sense in our physical bodies. Super important stuff. Many people don't even know that it exists, or that they have it, or they're not really clear about it, or they're flooded by it, or don't pay attention to it, or don't know quite what it is or how to work with it. And Dr. Gendlin's work turned into a book called Focusing, which is still in print today. I advise everybody who's interested to check it out. He also formed the Focusing Institute. Today I think it's called the International Focusing Institute, which promotes the work of focusing to the public so that it's become more accessible to people in general. The Focusing Institute also makes it available to professionals, helping professionals like myself, or helping to teach this as a part of our own work, and to academics. So there's a book, there's a website, focusing.org. Check it out. In my opinion, in my experience, the felt sense is integral to what it means to be human. It's a way into the world inside of us. It can be tricky though, because as Peter Levine says, the body is a theater of trauma. It's where trauma plays out. It's where it's experienced, and all these sensations of fight and flight and distress that our physical body could be sending us. So it can be tricky to work with. This seems like a good place for a reminder that nothing I say on this channel can be constituted as any therapeutic advice for an individual or individuals. This channel is for general information. I hope that there's things in here that are interesting to people, that catalyze a desire for further information, research, exploring one's own path towards healing or spiritual practice, or however one chooses to use it. General information. I'm sure there's exceptions to every generality that I might be talking about here. The felt sense, it's particularly important to know that because our physical bodies are usually where trauma is housed, and if you start poking around in there, and if you have a bunch of fight or flight charge in your system, it can be tricky going into there. In general, I feel it is really important to be aware of the existence of the felt sense because of its enormous potential for opening up a window to one's inner world and working with whatever needs to be worked with there. It's also really important to be aware of the precautions in case one's system is housing a high traumatic charge, which can cause flooding or numbing if somebody gets overwhelmed in it. Now, again, not individual therapeutic advice, but in general, flooding or going numb are not useful healing mechanisms. Flooding is when a feeling is too big and you go into it and it just really overtakes you, and it's all you can see and all you can feel, and it's usually pretty distressing. In my experience, that is not usually useful in creating better nervous system organization. And those on the other end of the spectrum, or some people flop back and forth between the two, numbing. It's a good short-term containment mechanism, but it doesn't help, again, create better organization in the nervous system. That is the danger of working outside what we call in the field the window of tolerance, kind of that sweet middle area in which people, and it varies again from person to person, in which people have the capacity to go within and do this felt sense work. Not too little and not too much. Again, best determined in consultation with one's own individual practitioner. It's good to be aware of that stuff as one starts to explore the topic. Okay, so what is this language of sensation stuff that I keep talking about? I'm going to give you a little negative example, a little positive example, and then we'll cut over to some ecotherapy. So I'm going to use my own self as an example of the felt sense. And let's for just a moment think about, I don't like loud noises, especially really loud noises. They are obnoxious to me. Some people love loud noises. That's cool. Everybody has different experience with the felt sense, different set of preferences. It's all okay. It's just information coming into one on the individual level, right? Okay, so loud noises. I'm right here on a main street. Maybe you can hear it in the background. There's lots of loud noises and loud motors. So if there's a particularly loud engine that comes by and the volume goes up all of a sudden, how my felt sense responds is my jaw clenches, my shoulders go up like this around my ears to kind of protect myself, and I feel a knot in my stomach, and I kind of go like that. Okay, so there's behavior. You can see actual behavior in the actions that my body's taking and the internal experience of the felt sense, the clenching in my stomach, the feeling of my shoulders going up around my ears. I can feel the muscles in my face squinching. I can definitely feel my jaw clenching. That hurts when it does that too much. And sometimes I can get stuck in that. I'm exaggerating, obviously, for the purposes of this video, but sometimes I can get stuck in that until it goes by. Okay, very simple example. Positive example. I adore my little dog. Her name is Daisy. She's a rescue from the shelter about 1.5 years ago, and she's just the sweetest little thing. So I'll put an image of Daisy here on the screen, and I'll put an image of Daisy in my mind, and as I see her in my mind, I remember how she feels when she lays up against me, just sort of her soft doggy warmth. And as I think about her, I can literally feel the musculature in my shoulders dropping. Any knots in my stomach that were left over from the loud engine exercise just start to relax, and you can probably hear that the muscles in my throat are relaxing, that my throat's getting more open. That's a felt sense experience and something that's observable from the outside. And I just feel a lot of warmth. I feel warmth in my chest, I feel warmth in my belly, and I feel a movement impulse to kind of gently cuddle her. Little dogs don't like to be squeezed and hugged. Nobody does when they're overpowered by somebody who's 12 times bigger than them. But I'm just feeling the movement impulse from the inside to want to hug her. Temperature's good. These are all my own bodily temperature's good. It's not too hot or too cold like sometimes happens in a stress response. These are examples of positive self, or shall we say pleasant felt sense. So let's see now how the felt sense can play out in an ecotherapy setting. So as you take in this beautiful oak woodlands, if you'd like to, you're welcome to participate in a little experiment at your own risk. But if you want to, here you go. As you notice this, maybe allow yourself to take in the visual images. And if you've ever spent any time in a habitat like this, just remembering how it felt to be there, the temperature, the breeze on your skin, just notice what sensations are in your body right now. Some of the sensations I'm feeling is just a relaxation, a muscle bracing, a sense of increased openness in my chest area, my jaw muscles are relaxing, and there's sort of a sense of calm warmth through my belly. And I'm also noticing that I'm losing some of that feeling of I've got to go and do this, I've got to go and do that, like that sense of time passing really quickly. Instead, I kind of dropped down into just being more in the moment. Some of these things we don't really have words for, but one of the words or one of the phrases that occurs to me is just as though time were gently flowing through me and it were something that I didn't really have to track or clench up around. That's just a really quick example of what it's like to access the felt sense and sensations, and it's an example of how being in beautiful natural habitats can support our self-regulation on a day-to-day, moment-to-moment basis. And as our bodies come out of the stress response and into the rest and digest, relaxation, parasympathetic response, that's when healing is possible in our physical bodies because there's literally the life energy to do that. That's when our nervous systems shift to support better social engagement, which means that the quality of the relationships we have are better, which is the basis of these outward bound programs that have been around for many years. And it's why we feel better, even if we're a little bit dirty when we come back from camping. So in my brain and my experience, this is how ecotherapy and supporting the natural environment and somatic psychotherapy and human self-regulation link up. I'm sure that you can think of other different examples. I was just up the trail a few minutes ago and some people came by on horseback, and I grew up around horses and I just love the smell of horses. There's just something so wonderful about it. And again, I could feel the bracing in my shoulders drop. I could feel inside my belly being a little bit open. I could feel the muscles in my face creating a smile. And it was really easy to say hello and talk to them. So just a really quick example of the links between natural habitat, good ecosystem functioning, human self-regulation, the stress response, general well-being, and being able to connect better with other people socially, which supports good relationships, good family functioning, and healthier communities. So there you have it. Really cool stuff when it all works together, huh? Thank you for watching this video. If you would like to support my work of getting this information out into the world, you could subscribe to receive notification of future videos. You could contribute to my Patreon account to support this channel. And of course, please feel free to share this video with others. Take care. Until next time, be well.